The morning of January 27th, 2023, began like any other for Nicola Bulley. She dropped her two young daughters off at school, a routine act of love performed by millions of parents every day. She then took her dog, Willow, for a familiar walk along the River Wyre in St. Michael's-on-Wyre, a picturesque village in Lancashire. It was a path she'd walked countless times. But on this day, Nicola Bulley said, leaving behind only her phone on a park bench, still connected to a work call, and her dog, Willow, wandering nearby, distressed and alone. What happened in those crucial minutes? The disappearance sparked a massive search and a media frenzy that gripped the nation and the world. Theories ran wild, from the plausible to the outright bizarre. The initial police hypothesis was that she had accidentally fallen into the frigid river, but for many, including her family, this explanation just didn't add up. Nicola was a strong swimmer and knew the area well. The river wasn't particularly fast-flowing at that spot. How could she just disappear without a trace? The search operation was one of the largest in recent memory. Police divers scoured the riverbed. Drones with thermal cameras swept the landscape from above. Specialist search teams combed the surrounding fields and woodlands. Volunteers from across the country joined the effort, driven by a desperate need to help find this missing mother. Every day, the news was filled with updates. But each update seemed only to deepen the mystery. There were no witnesses to her fall, no clear signs of a struggle, nothing. This vacuum of information was quickly filled by speculation. Social media became a hotbed for amateur detectives. Self-proclaimed psychics and independent investigators descended on the small village, broadcasting their theories live to thousands of followers. Some claimed she was abducted, pointing to supposed blind spots in the local CCTV coverage. Others suggested she had run away, a theory her family vehemently denied, emphasizing her deep love for her daughters and her happy family life. The intense public scrutiny and the spread of baseless rumors placed an immense strain on Nicola's family and friends, who were already enduring an unimaginable nightmare. They pleaded with the public to stop speculating and to trust the police. But the online chatter was relentless. The police investigation faced immense pressure. They had to navigate not only the complexities of a challenging missing person case, but also the intense glare of the public eye. They explored multiple lines of inquiry, meticulously following up on every lead, no matter how small. They analyzed Nicola's digital footprint, her phone data, her Fitbit activity, her social media. They interviewed hundreds of people, trying to piece together a timeline of her final hours. One of the key points of focus was that bench by the river. Her phone was still on it, logged into a Microsoft Teams call that had ended just minutes before she was thought to have disappeared. Her dog's harness was found on the ground nearby. It was a strange and unsettling scene. It didn't look like the aftermath of an accident, nor did it scream of a pre-planned disappearance. It was simply ... empty. A snapshot of a life abruptly paused. As days turned into weeks, hope began to fade. The search of the river was extensive. Peter Folding, a private specialist brought in by the family, used advanced sonar equipment to scan the riverbed, initially declaring that if she were in the river, his equipment would have found her. This statement fueled further speculation that Nicola wasn't in the water, sending the rumor mill into overdrive. The focus shifted to the land search, with people questioning if there was a third party involved. The police, however, remained firm in their belief that the river was the most likely scenario. Then, on Sunday, February 19th, more than 3 weeks after she vanished, a tragic discovery was made. Two walkers spotted a body in the reeds along the River Wyre, about a mile downstream from where Nicola was last seen. The police were called, and the worst fears of her family and the community were realized. Dental records confirmed the body was that of Nicola Bulley. The search was over, but the questions remained. The post-mortem examination was crucial. It sought to answer how Nicola ended up in the water and why. The findings were sobering. The coroner concluded that Nicola had died from drowning. There were no signs of any third-party involvement or assault. The high levels of alcohol found in her system were consistent with therapeutic levels of medication she was taking. But more importantly, the evidence pointed towards cold water shock. This is a physiological response that occurs when a person is suddenly immersed in cold water, causing an involuntary gasp for air and rapid breathing, which can lead to water inhalation and drowning in seconds. The inquest painted a clearer, more heartbreaking picture of what likely happened. Nicola's partner, Paul Ansel, described her struggles with menopause and the effects of her HRT medication. In the weeks before her disappearance, she had experienced trouble sleeping and increased anxiety. The inquest heard that on the morning of her walk, it is possible she went to the river's edge perhaps, to put the harness back on Willow End for some reason, entered the water. It could have been a slip, a stumble, or even a brief faint. The temperature of the river Wire that day was just below 4 degrees Celsius. At that temperature, cold water shock is almost instantaneous. It would have been silent, and it would have been fast. The coroner, Dr. James Adley, was clear in his verdict. Nicola's death was an accident. He systematically dismantled the conspiracy theories that had caused so much pain. There was no foul play. She did not intend to take her own life. It was a tragic, unfortunate accident that could have happened in the blink of an eye. He criticized the social media influencers who had promoted harmful speculation, noting the distress it caused Nicola's family. The case of Nicola Bulley is a profound and somber story. It's a story about a loving mother whose ordinary day ended in an unimaginable way. But it's also a story about our modern world, how a personal tragedy can become a public spectacle, and how misinformation can run rampant in the absence of facts. It highlights the dangers of trial by social media and the immense pain that unfounded speculation can inflict on a grieving family. In the end, the truth was not a complex conspiracy, but a simple, devastating accident. The final walk of Nicola Bulley serves as a powerful reminder of the fragility of life and the importance of compassion and respect in the face of tragedy. It reminds us to hold our loved ones close and to seek truth, not in rumors, but in facts and evidence. The river that flowed through her village ultimately held the sad answer to her disappearance, a secret it kept for 23 long days. Thank you for joining us to explore the real story behind this case. It's a reminder to approach such events with empathy. If you found this video insightful, please like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into compelling stories. Stay safe and take care.